Welcome to Home Team Advantage. I'm Gary Gimbetti along with Mike Egan, back for another week of sports talk.
You recognize you without your hat.
Yeah, well, if you can call it sports talk, I don't know, but
Well, we covered everything. We're like ESPN and CNN and Fox all rolled into one.
no, believe me, I remember.
But we stay away from politics.
I regret not having my hat on, but that's okay. The
So do I,
shine.
because the glare's a little tight today.
I just shaved this morning, so it's kind of
Like a
brand
baby,
new.
it's
Yeah.
like a baby's bottom. And don't ask me to rub it.
No, I won't. Trust me.
How do you do for luck?
No,
Got your head.
Buddha.
So let's start with the local stuff. We were just talking a little bit, discussing the Legion and the VFW and our senior league.
Yes, and the Legion, the 8th District, 2023 Division I Northeast Sub-State Tournament for Hibbing Legion is supposed to start Wednesday. Of course, we've got much
Weather.
needed rain, so
Is that you?
I don't know.
Pre-press, Tina speaking.
Oh, wrong number.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
You gotta call it.
Yeah.
That's all you calling in.
I don't know. I didn't hit that. I didn't hit anything.
Tina from the city?
Yeah, it's pre-press for our paper.
Oh,
But yesterday was supposed to be the start of it, and it
It rained.
rained out. So they're starting today with a 11 o'clock a.m. game with Cloquet Rapids, and then at 1:30 Thunder Bay and Duluth, and then at 4 p.m. Hibbing and Rock Ridge.
and we mentioned these are all being played at Al Nyberg Field.
Yes, they are. And then Hermantown was the number 1 seed, so they don't have to play till tomorrow against the winner of the Hibbing and Rock Ridge game.
And even though Hibbing beat Hermantown twice in Hermantown,
In Hermantown,
they got the 5th seed and Hermantown got the number 1
1
seed.
seed, yes. Now, again, I don't know the results of the other games.
Do they go by QRC?
No, this has nothing to do with QRC or QRF, because this is a whole different entity than high school sports. But I asked Logan Radovich the other day how did you get them? Because I didn't know how they did against Hermantown, and then he told me they beat them in 2 games down there because Hermantown didn't have enough players to come up here and play.
Yeah.
Which totally boggles my mind how they so conveniently didn't want to play up here. But then he told me they beat them like 5-4 and 6-5 down there, and I go, well, how did you get the number 5 seed? And he didn't want to go into it.
Oh,
So I don't know. Maybe today I'll get a little inquisitive and ask some of the other coaches what happened.
yeah.
We'll see, but yeah, and I know Hibbing probably. I'm assuming, and I know they lost to Duluth this year, and I'm have to think they lost to Rapids, but I'm not sure.
Well, like I said earlier, it's not who you know, it's who you piss off.
Well, but yeah, so and I don't think there would have been much movement in there. Maybe we would have got the 4 seed and been playing Rock Ridge, got the 5th seed, and it still would have been playing them. But I just that's weird because you just don't beat a good team like Hermantown twice and then all of a sudden get overlooked.
Yeah. Well, that's Hibbing.
Well, we talked earlier about the same thing happened in hockey, the high school season too, where 2 of the teams did not want to play Hermantown in the semifinals, so I hate to say conspired, but
Yeah, they did. You
Yeah.
can say it. If you don't, I will.
all right, you can say it. I already said it, so
I'll
it
get
doesn't
the hate
matter.
mail.
But and so they got their way, and the one team I'm sure regretted it anyway because they got 11 goals or 12 goals scored on
Right.
them by the other team, and
Yep.
didn't really matter much. So maybe they would have done better had a better game against Hermantown. I don't know, but it just can't happen. It can't happen like that. But still, but we'll see. It'll play out. It's a double elim tourney. Now they'll play. I want to say there'll be 4 games on Friday, then there'll be 3 games on Saturday, and then a possible 2 games on Sunday. Now that everything got pushed back a day, so
It says a double limb.
yeah, double elim.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. Hibbing has certainly the pitching depth to get through it, and they're starting to hit the ball a little bit. So defense is coming around, and
Now this is a sub.
This is
district
the
tournament,
sub-state,
So
yeah.
if whoever wins this goes to like a regional tournament.
well,
or
I think no, they'll go to state
go to state. Okay.
after the winner of this tournament will go to state. So.
Okay.
As we know, Rapids won the section in high school, beating Hermantown in
Right.
dramatic fashion. Maybe it'll come down to Rapids and Hermantown again. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll let it play out and see what happens. The VFW, I'll find that here. They start their tournament on Saturday over at Rock Ridge, and what do we call that? At Franzenbach and Trust Field, and then at City Auto Glass Field over there. They obviously have the two fields over there. It looks like Hibbing got the #1 seed in that tournament,
Oh, good.
so they're playing this Grand Rapids B team over there. Grand Rapids A team, I think, got the #2 seed. No, East got the #2 seed.
So-
Grand Rapids A was
So they
7.
don't get a bye the first
No,
round?
they don't get it
Okay.
because there's 8 teams in that one.
Okay.
So they play, if I can read this, I can't read it. He's told me it was tough to read off there, but they play probably early in the morning, I'm assuming. So, let me see, I'm not going to be able to get it on here on a computer. I could look at it better. But I can't read that. My eyes aren't that good. So,
You sure got some nice pictures to look at in there, though.
no, thank you. My private stash.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna keep enlarging them.
But so good luck to them. I mean, I like that team.
I guess the question I have is, some of the kids that play Legion play VFW and vice versa?
Some do.
So how are they gonna do that?
Well, that I don't know how much it'll conflict, but I'm sure I'm assuming some of the VFW kids will go over there to play,
Okay.
because that team it's one of the better teams I've seen in a long time.
This is the Legion team.
No, the
Oh, the
VFW
VFW,
team.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
They have a lot of those Pee-wee or the kids that won Pee-wee and Bantam State on there, and they're very good baseball players.
Good.
So they definitely have a shot being the #1 seed at winning that. So good luck to them.
Yep.
Yeah, the Zubiches and Chris Hansen coach that one.
Too bad they're not playing at home, since they're the #1 seed.
Well, no, but obviously, I mean, they do have the facility over there. You got to give Rock Ridge credit
Oh,
for
yeah.
that. They have the 2 facilities. So
It's your hard tax dollar at work over there.
that's right, which is what we need over here, which we never bring up on this station.
Well, we don't talk a lot about the politics of Hibbing, but we did have a little discussion before we came on the air about some of the buildings in town.
Yeah.
And what it's going to take to. So if you ever get a chance, tune in to HPAT and watch the city council meeting from July 19th, I'm sorry, and you'll get an update about what has to be done with some of the buildings in
That
town.
was actually during the working session, but
Yeah, you probably won't be able, if it was during a working
Oh,
session.
they didn't bring it up at the council meeting?
You won't be able to see it,
not yet.
but
Oh, okay.
I'm sure in future dates or future meetings, they'll have to discuss it and
Yep.
take a vote on it and everything, so.
Thanks for the plug.
I mean, let's be honest, let's just stay with baseball. Okay.
Well, no, I mean, we always try to find things to talk about. I mean,
Okay.
some of the buildings we're talking about are older. We won't mention the buildings, but I mean,
Well, they're downtown buildings. Some are depleted to the point where they need to come down. Some have already come down.
City Hall Library and more.
And then you've got the City Hall, which is an older building that needs a lot of repair work. The library, which needs a new roof because the solar panels they put on are leaking. And then you have some work that has to be done with the ventilation at the memorial building. So, I mean, there's 3 major buildings right there, and they already got money to build the fire hall and the police station. So maybe City Hall would be part of that building too. Who knows? I don't know what they're gonna
Yeah.
do. It's a quandrum that they have to address, and where the money's gonna come from. $13 million to fix the city hall.
14.
$14 million.
14 million. A lot of money. So there goes our baseball fields.
Well, you better be careful because they're taking some of the parks away from you too.
Well,
so.
that's true. I don't watch this. I should probably be more interested in that, but I don't have, with my TV provider, I don't get, I mean, I could go online, obviously,
Yep.
because HPAT's always has provided you services online, and then Roku and on Apple TV.
But
Give them a plug, but,
we know where your priorities lie.
well,
Iron Range Baseball.
yeah, the Iron Range Baseball League, yeah, that's where they all,
Yep.
their tournament starts on, I think Ron said August 1st.
Up in Ely.
Well, Hibbing will play. He said Hibbing's playing at home. The Hardy's team for sure is playing at home on that first day, and then it moves all up to Ely after that
Okay.
one. But I don't have a draw for that.
But the
so
Fraboni's team ended up the #1 seed.
Oh, Hardy's dead. 11.
Hardy's.
Oh, Hardy's is 11-1. Okay.
So and for Boney's, you know where they ended up?
They're like
Fifth.
7-4 or something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 7-4. If that's how they finish, that should be
Yep.
a decent seed for them. So.
And Hardy's has one makeup game yet next Thursday.
And Hardy's has one makeup game, so they could go 12-1.
You ever get the feeling that you're on a cloud and God's talking to you
I
sometimes?
know the disembodied voice.
He's got the gray hair for it.
Writer, producer, director.
Extraordinaire.
Yeah. So
If he's our writer, we need a new one because some of our material's not so
very
good.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But so that pretty much
Takes care of the baseball. Well, Little League's going. I just put a plug out if this goes on before 5 o'clock Thursday. Our Miracle League is having their annual picnic and game tonight.
Oh.
So hopefully the weather will cooperate.
Little League's playing tonight too.
And Little League is playing tonight.
They
So
must start their playoffs here pretty quick, I would imagine.
usually it's around the end of July into the first week in August. I know they usually want to be done by the first week in August. And
Mhm.
depending on, I'm not sure if they're going to put together a tournament team. I don't want to call it an all-star team, but a tournament team to go play, somewhere. But usually the end of July, first part of August, they have their tournament. So should be busy at the park tonight then.
Mhm. Well, yeah, you say that, and I said that's where I've seen a lot of these kids. Where I first got the inkling how good these VFW players was
They're a Little League.
covering Little
Yep.
League championship
And Junior
games and
League, yeah.
watching them play. So we'll see. I mean, I'm sure I'll be at the finals for the Little League, and I'll get a look at the next crop
Yep.
of young guys coming up playing Little League baseball.
Good.
So should be fun. Playoffs are always fun. So we get down to the ballpark. For if you want to see Legion, obviously get down there. If you want to see the Miracle League, go. If you want to see the Little League, go down there. There's a lot of action going on down there today.
Or bring some shampoo and go to the splash
Splash
park.
party.
How about the Miners?
The Miners,
Are they done?
no, they ended up splitting a pair of games last week in Bemidji. They beat Bemidji and lost to Roseau, but the win against Bemidji gave them 3 wins over Bemidji, so that Hibbing's at least secured, I believe, a number 2 seed for their playoffs. And now they go to, I want to say they go to Erskine this weekend to play a couple teams there, including Roseau. So if they can beat Roseau there, they might have a shot at the number 1 seed.
No. Nice.
So they could get, and they're where their playoffs are right now. I have no idea. I'll have to ask Adam about that. But they went up there, and I guess in Bemidji, Zach Vandermeer, who was one of Adam's assistant coaches, actually had to play.
They're short guys.
Yeah, they didn't have enough. Well, they had 9 guys for sure, 10 maybe with Adam there, but Zach evidently held his own because he had a couple hits and probably hadn't played baseball in 3 or 4 years at least.
You got an extra minute. I tell you, I don't know if I ever told you the story about Mr. Vandermeer. When we had an opportunity to coach a tournament team for Little League, he went to Missouri to play in this tournament down there, and the kids at that time are 12 years old. Down there, they can be a little bit older than 12. So the local team shows up who we were playing, and they all drive their cars. They get out of the car with their girlfriends, and my poor kids are standing there, 12, all Google-eyed, wondering, "Holy smokes, how the hell are we going to beat these guys?" And we put Zach pitched that first game, and it was a night game, and they had 800-900 people there. Radio station. I mean, this is big time. Yeah.
Wow.
And Zach pitched basically a 2-hitter, and unfortunately we lost on a error, but he came of age that night, and it was really kind of fun to watch. But that's so I'll never forget Mr. Vandermeer.
Yeah, no, yeah, he handled himself well. I mean, he hit a double. He said he probably hadn't hit a double ever. So it's like, good for him.
So anyways.
But yeah, so they're doing fine. I mean, I wish they had more games, and they had more home games, because they only played at home twice, I think. And
How many teams in that league?
Well, I'm not sure. There's probably 6, maybe, I want to say, 5 or 6.
The junior league, Ron's telling me they have, what, 13? 13 teams. So maybe, hopefully, baseball's coming back.
Well,
Let's hope.
Yeah, I just, but there's no, in the amateur thing, there's no teams around here other than Twin Ports or Duluth or Superior.
Right.
Otherwise, you have to go out west or down to the south. Yeah. I mean, anywhere down south, you can probably find a number of teams.
Well, like they always say, go west, young man.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing this weekend. Suppose I could look that up, but I don't want to be looking at my phone again. So
I will look at those pictures.
So there we go there.
Twins.
Twins.
Might as well stay with baseball, right?
What have they won?
5 in a row?
Of 6. They've won 5 of 6 because they lost to Seattle the first game there.
Yep.
So they won 5 of 6. You told me they won 6-3 last night against Seattle, which is a team similar to the Twins.
Correct.
Because they're having trouble scoring runs. They're getting decent pitching, but they're having trouble scoring runs.
And Maeda, how do you pronounce it?
Kenta Maeda
pitched well last night.
pitched well.
Into the 8th inning, I think he went.
Yeah, good for him.
Which is a rarity.
And Bailey Ober had a tough first inning the other night, gave up 3 runs, but then settled in and pitched 6 or 7 innings of 1-hit ball after the first inning.
Again, I don't understand where Balboa is coming from, because Maeda's pitching a great game, pulls him, and puts in Jax, who gives up a 2-run home run to tie the game in the 8th inning.
Maeda didn't get the win then.
And Maeda didn't get the win.
He didn't get the win.
No.
Oh, okay.
So what did you say to that guy when he comes into the dugout? Thanks.
Yeah, really. Yeah, thanks, Jack Griffin, for blowing my win on that one. Because I'm sure they get paid incentive-wise. I mean,
oh yeah, I'm sure. But anyways, they're as we are talking, in our what do we call it? Pre-production meeting.
Pre-production meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go.
Ron tells us jokes, and we all gotta pretend to laugh. And he does that. He said I was number 1. By the way, your fingernail's dirty. Anyways,
Oh boy.
if the Twins make a trade or don't make a trade, what's that tell you about the team? And Senior Buxton.
Well, we're gonna kind of talk about that. It's not a big deal, but like you said, if they don't make a trade, does that mean they really care about how the season goes? No. Because I don't know who you're going to trade or who you're going to get and who you're going to trade for them. I mean, right now, I'd say, and it would be an unfair trade for Anaheim, but I'd trade Buxton for Ohtani.
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat. You think they're going to trade him?
Ohtani? Well, that's the way it sounds.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound like they're going to sign him.
First in RBIs, first in home runs, first in pitching. I mean, the guy's amazing. It just, I don't think Buxton is even in the same category as him.
No, not right now, and that would be a sort of an unfair trade for the Anaheim.
I mean,
and we're just messing around here.
Here.
Yeah, we're just spitballing, obviously.
Especially when you got a center fielder that hasn't played center field in, that'd be another 383 games.
383 days, or however many games.
Yeah.
But you hear him talking about this slump. He's had 4 slumps, I think, He's been in 6 slumps of over 20 at bats without
A hit.
getting a hit.
Yeah.
I think 4 of them are this season. And I emailed, and I didn't get any answer or response to it, but I did email KFan a couple days, yesterday and the day before, about guys who are cover the Twins. And I asked him, he just seems not engaged in games when he's up at the plate. You can just see it, that he I don't know, he doesn't swing at strikes when they're piped right down the middle. And when he strikes out, he just slumps around and walks back to the dugout, and he just doesn't seem engaged. Well, my question was, why doesn't Baldelli put him in center field and play the outfield to keep him engaged in the game instead of striking out and then having to go sit down and wait another, 20, 25 minutes before he gets another at bat?
Well, my question to you after that comment was, is it Balboa that's making this decision, or is it the echelon upstairs making that decision that, well, we don't want to put him in center field because if he gets hurt, then he's not doing us any good at all?
Yeah, but is he doing you any good right now?
No, he's
not
not
playing.
No,
he's
and
not.
I relate that back to your story, what you're talking about, his being disengaged. Watching that special they had on Michael Jordan, and he said, "Yeah, I left basketball to go play baseball." He said, "But I didn't like playing baseball because it was so boring. I just stand there with that. You're not doing anything. You're not moving. You're not, contributing to the game." And he said that's why he went back to playing basketball. So I agree with you. I think that if you're not engaged in the game and you're not participating, I mean, just to sit on the bench and go, okay, it's my turn to bat. Oh, here we go. It just. What do you do?
Well, and it's not rocket science.
No.
I mean, it's an easy thing to figure out. Now, if he's hurt, then just shut him down.
Yeah. But they can't afford to.
Well, I know, but they've shut him down. Did he play last night?
No.
Okay, so that's 2 games in a row he hasn't played, and they've won both games.
They got to arrest him. He's got to hang
Well, I know, but if he needs surgery on something, if that something is that bad, but it looks like he's moving around fine.
Yeah.
When he gets on base, he does steal bases. He does run the bases well, but he gets mired in these slumps, and it's just you don't know why.
Well, time to go see the shrink.
Well, maybe that's what he needs to do is get.
One of the greatest baseball movies I've ever seen was The Natural. Robert Redford. I always remember they brought the psychiatrist into the locker room to try to help him. They're all laughing at the guy. But I don't know. If they could trade him, would I trade him? Yes. If they can get something in return for him, and plus, some of their money they'll be able to save. But
well, and it's not a slight. This is not a slight on Michael A. Taylor because he's
an all-star.
He's
a Golden
he
Glover.
He's played center field just fine.
Yep.
But now if you move him over to left, and you have Buxton in center, and even Kepler now who has showing signs of life at the plate.
Yep.
That's a decent outfield, and you even got Joey Gallo that can play in the outfield. Now his hitting he's hitting well below 200.
Yep.
But he also, when he does hit it, he hits it a long way.
Yeah.
But get him out in the field and let him play, and I don't know. But they know more about it than we do. That's why we're doing a show on HPAT, and they're running Major League Baseball
Come on now, don't
teams.
run us down here.
Well,
we have fans.
I know,
somewhere.
and I'm not knocking us. I mean, we enjoy doing this, but if it's as simple as maybe he'll hit better. I mean, somebody should look that up to see if he hits better
When he's playing?
I'm sure
in the
outfield.
All I'm saying is, and as we mentioned, either they need to do something. They've got some pitchers they could trade, but they've got to do something to improve the team. You're in first place by 2 or 3 games now.
3 games, I think, now.
And you have to do something to maintain that and do better than, because the Guardians and the White Sox, somebody's going to do something. And there's usually that big trade, that comes up around this time of year. And there's other teams. I mean, there's what? How many? 26 major league teams? There are 32
Well,
now.
30 or 32, one or
And,
somewhere in there.
So somebody's out there going to be looking to trade somebody
Buddy.
to help somebody. So
But you know, the thing is
just don't
I think
bring
the,
Sano back.
the Guardians, the Guardians are I think, going to be the only team
That can catch
in
them.
that division they'll have an issue with.
Yeah.
Chicago is like I think might be 10 or 11 games under 500.
Yeah, and
You know, Kansas City, no. Detroit looked like they were coming on, and then all of a sudden they started falling back.
Yeah.
So I don't think any of those other three teams are going to be, again. But you said it. If they make a trade and maybe they catch fire, you never know. But
well, they're in a league. They're in a division where status quo is acceptable. So if you're going to play a little over 500 ball, and like Ron said, you know, unless they win the division, they're not going to make it pretty much as a wild card. So I don't know. We blast them quite a bit here, and you know, I'm sure, like you said, there's people that are more baseball intuitive than what's going on than we are. But as a fan who's got to sit through a 15-2 game that they lose and pay that much money to watch them, you better do something. So.
Well, I'll tell you, and to have some positivity, so I don't get rained on by the Twins organization, which I probably won't. But Eduardo Julian is showing some promise coming up. Alex Kirilloff is
hit home run last
been
night.
hitting-
Julian a home run the night before.
Yeah, and so they have some really good young talent. They just have to get these, you know, and Correa's starting to hit the ball now. He's hitting the ball well. I love it every time he comes up to the plate that he gets booed.
Yeah.
And then he hits a home run.
Hits a home run. One spot though that doesn't get the publicity that everybody, and the Twins did it, I think, a good job at is catching. It seems like their catcher does and there's not too many pass balls. He calls a good game. And when everything's working, I get that. I like that when they go, "Oh, my microphone isn't working."
Yeah, it's their Comcast thing. Or
they got
whatever
some
it
guy
is.
in the stands interfering with them. You know,
You know, you just wish both Jeffers and what's his name?
Catcher?
Yeah.
Rodriguez.
No, yeah. Both of them are very good.
Yep.
One of them has like a streak going of not letting a ball blocking a
Get
ball
by.
So. I'll think of it. But Jeffers and Vasquez are both very good catchers. The only problem is the hitting part of it.
Right.
Neither one of them is a.
Well, we forgot to mention that with our local unofficial sponsor today has a melted down Laca Merkel turtle.
Turtle.
So if you drink any more of those, you're gonna have a hard shell.
And then up
Viking-
north lettering, we got to make
Yep,
sure we
up
can
north
give them
lettering, and then Vikings start training this weekend. So good luck to all those guys. And
Well,
Sign off.
Yeah, for Mike Egan, I'm Gary Gimbetti. We'll see you again next week on Home Team Advantage.
Hibbing Public Access Television would like to thank U.S. Bank for providing us with studio space.